Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you, Maya. And thank you, Juan, for joining. So today we have a very special Harmony event. We are talking about the new Outlook. And we will be also talking about the new extensibility model of Office. And we will also talk about the new Harmony, which will take advantage of this new extensibility model. So I'm Yaakov Cohen, the CEO for Harmony, and I'm thrilled to welcome today Juan Balmori Labra, Principal Program Manager for Microsoft. Welcome, Juan.
Hello, Jacob. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here with you today and to share some of the things we're doing here in the programmability team at Microsoft.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. So we're going to start with questions. We have a casual interview and we have the opportunity to have Juan with us. And you guys will be able also to submit your own questions for both topics, for the new Outlook and the extensibility model, and also for the new Harmony. So please submit your question in the chat. Juan and I will do our best to answer all of them. And Juan, so you have been a program manager for quite some time at Microsoft. You have been leading program management for Office and for SharePoint.
Right.
Can you tell us a little more? And also, I know you have been a speaker in a lot of the Microsoft events, TechEd Latin America, and a lot of other events. So thank you again for joining. You know, what I think would be good to start with is to tell us more about your role today at Microsoft.
Yeah, absolutely, Jacob. Thank you very much. Well, right now I'm a product manager for Outlook add-ins. I've been working in this project. Well, as you know, the Microsoft, the way that it's organized is that, it has each of the teams, Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And then we have some teams that we call horizontal teams, which are teams that provide services to all of those applications. And my team, the Office Platform team, is a team that is providing the programmability capabilities for each of those applications. And, during my tenure on this team, I was one of the PMs who founded actually the new web add-ins model back in Office 2013. And I have been part of this team since then, involved in a lot of different scenarios. I have been the PM for, the Word API, for the Excel, PowerPoint, and now Outlook, for the last 4 years or so. So our team basically owns the add-in model, the programmability stuff, and all the related features associated with that, like how to, development, the tools that we have for administrators to deploy add-ins and the store and so on and so forth. So it's been a good ride so far.
So yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of experience, and I know my team has been working with your team. We have been working together to take advantage of the new extensibility model.
Right.
And I think the new Outlook is a very important component for the strategy of the new extensibility model. And I think for the IT people in the audience, but also for end user, Outlook has been this stable anchor in the Microsoft workplace. And all of a sudden, there is a new Outlook.
Right.
We thought Outlook will never change; it will always be here. And now there is a new Outlook. So, what can you tell us about this, the new Outlook?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not also a drastic change. No, it's I think it's a natural evolution of the product. As you know, today, what we're calling the new Outlook, it's basically a unification of the Outlook code base. No, it's like today, across the different platforms we support, Windows, web, Mac, and online and mobile, each of them have kind of a different feeling, a different user experience. Sometimes one has features that the other doesn't. And, so in general, one of the goals was to basically consolidate all these different platforms into a single experience, into a unified experience, no? And at the same time, each of those products that I was mentioning has different cycles of engineering, no? So we, as you know, the web clients are the ones that are getting the updates faster than others. In the Windows case, for example, we depending on the subscription mode that you can get updates, a year after, they were public in the monthly channels. So with basically with this unification, which is not only a consolidation of the UX of the experience, it's also unification of the code, that single code base, that today we have, again, code base for each of those platforms. So from the engineering perspective, it's also providing a lot of benefits and the ability for our customers to get the latest updates faster, which is something that we have been struggling a little bit. So I think those are the two. And basically, what's happening right now is that our web client is going to be, in essence, the essence of the new Outlook. So the rest of the platforms are going to be like some sort of a frame of the Outlook on the web experience. So that has some consequences, that design decision that we will talk a little bit more when we talk about extensibility. But that's basically.
So I guess that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about, that when we as IT people, which are managing Microsoft 365 and managing the clients, so basically the new Outlook is like a layer on top of the Outlook web, and there is a unification of all the Outlooks.
Right.
What that means, so let's talk about what that means for the IT people. As an IT person, if we are using plugins for Dynamics or for Salesforce conference tools plugins, or security plugins, or productivity plugins like Harmony, what do I need to do? I need to refresh these plugins? What's really
well? Yes. So one of the consequences of the design that I was mentioning is that the COM add-in model, or the BSTO add-in model that we used to have is no longer going to be supported in the new Outlook. So in the new Outlook, the only extensibility model that it's going to be supported is the web add-in platform. So all the ISVs, all the different people in our community who has already invested in creating a web add-in product, like you, for example, are basically all that investment is gonna carry over to the new Outlook, because that's the model that it's gonna be supported. So for IT, well, one of the main consequences is that they will have to start working on finding alternatives to their COM add-in offers into web add-ins. Our team has been working very diligently with a lot of ISVs with the top used add-ins, Outlook add-ins out there in the different segments, and we have been enabling the platform so that they can actually transition successfully their COM add-ins into web add-ins. It's a journey that we are doing right now, but something that definitely is happening. So as an IT, basically, what you need to do is to analyze the inventory of add-ins around your organization, whether they are from third parties or maybe also coded internally, and try to start finding an equivalent and trying to start kind of moving those existing COM add-ins into web add-ins. So that's going to come up with, obviously, with the benefit of the consistency of the experience. The deployment models for web add-ins are way better than the COM add-in model is right now today, because it's still supported and will still be supported. And then you will also get the faster delivery of fixes and value across all the endpoints. So that's
so basically this is a new add-in model, which is web-based,
right?
And it's going to be a unified model for not just Outlook, but for all Office. And we are, the ISV community, people like us, we are working diligently to support. I remember we started in 2013,
right?
But now the model has matured a lot. and we were talking about some of the things which we have seen, like coming from Microsoft, like the ability to have persistent add-ins, web add-ins which are persistent, the ability to drag and drop. So I think that's also the other thing we wanted to talk about is how do you work with how do you support the ASP community to really catch the train for the new add-in model? And what's overall your vision to support the Microsoft ecosystem?
Well, evidently we are. It's in our top interest that that all our ISVs have the ability to get into the new web add-in model. So basically the approach that the team has been doing is to basically, well, first of all, we know today what are the add-ins that are most popular, by usage out there in the markets. So we have two efforts, two very big efforts going on right now. The first one is basically trying to make sure that the add-ins that have the most usage are kind of have everything they need to be created as a web add-in, transition from a add-in to a web add-in. So basically add-ins that are in the security space, in the kind of spam reporting, DLP types of scenarios, encryption and classification, all of those types of add-ins right now should be in a very good position to be moved to web add-ins. The next category are the online meeting providers, all these add-ins that allow you to create online meetings. Should also have a perfect segue into web add-ins, as well as productivity, and Harmony in this case is one of the ISVs that has been very successful in the COM model. So in fact, we are working with you very closely with your team, trying to identify essential gaps that your product has. In this case, the context-less add-ins we're discussing, and item multi-select in Outlook that you can activate add-ins when you select multiple items on the Explorer views, drag and drop. So we're having this kind of communication with our key customers and partners, and basically adding the gaps to our backlog and basically enabling them. Something that we have not talked about here, it's when the transition is going to happen. So what is a timeline for One Outlook?
Actually, Juan, this is one of the questions. One of the question is when will Microsoft release the new Outlook? And I think people want to know about how much time they have to refresh these plugins,
yes,
these add-ins.
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, if you today install the Outlook that is in preview, you will see that there's a button at the top that says, you want to try the new Outlook, and when you click on that, that is control obviously for IT. IT can enable or disable that option. But if you want to try it, you can try it today, and you can try your web add-ins today. What I'm trying to say is that we don't have a set date right now. We don't know. I cannot tell you an exact day on when that transition is going to happen. I do know that it is going to happen. And the way that my team visualizes that is that it's kind of a journey right now, right? So I would say in at some point it's going to become mainstream. I think that's going to happen within the next 2 years, So today is the perfect timing to be engaging with my team around, trying to communicate different gaps that you might have, and issues that you might have during those transitions, so that we can have a plan for it.
So that's a good point. So if an IT organization has developed its own plugin, we're going to share a survey link, right? So they can communicate with your team, Juan.
Yes. So that is the first step. Yes.
Maya will post the link of the survey for anybody which want to talk about a specific in-house developed plugin in an IT organization. So you can fill up this survey, and we will make sure Juan team gets it.
Exactly, Jacob. So that goes back to my second. I was telling previously that we have two big efforts going on. The first one is to identify the top ISVs and make sure to enable them, and the second one is to reach out to the community and talk, have conversations with people. We have the survey that hopefully you can share with this community, And that survey is basically one way of approaching my team and kind of starting a discussion and say, you know what, Juan, we need to, please, can you guys have this, and we can have a conversation about what we need to do, right? So
and yes, so I have some questions here from the audience
yeah.
about Office 365 Government Cloud. So will the schedule with, so you have been saying, it will take a couple of years. So I see one participant is concerned about the discontinuation of Outlook Desktop in the government cloud.
I don't think that there's going to be I don't think that it's going to be a discontinuation as such, and if it does, it's going to happen so we're not going to, obviously we don't want to affect drastically anybody, right? So in the government clouds, the adoption of this type of features is a bit slower than in the usual channels, so I think we're going to have a specific timeline for that. But the other SKUs that we have and the other environments, I think it's going to be a bit faster than the government clouds.
Okay. Yeah, so government cloud, I think.
Great question, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good point. They're going to have a little more time. But anyway, as you said, I think if I summarize, you're saying this is a process. You understand that a lot of organizations are invested in COM add-ins and in Outlook Desktop. And Microsoft in one end wants to move to the new model, on the other end respect the constraints, and is gonna working with top ISVs to make this transition as smooth as possible, right? I have a question about, yeah, okay, good. So I have a question also about add-ins for Excel. I get that's the same thing, right? They are COM add-ins, so it's the same thing.
Well, no, in Excel right now, this transition is going to happen specifically in Outlook. In Excel, we don't have anything similar going on right now. So in Excel, it's not yet clear what's going to happen.
So you can keep doing the COM add-ins in Excel?
Right now, there is no plan like we have in Outlook. So everything that I mentioned in this call, by the way, is affecting only Outlook. One Outlook project is the organization that is going to be affected right now. Nothing of what I said applies to, although we are doing a similar effort. We're doing, and we have a lot of resources working in Excel and Word and PowerPoint. This transition of kind of not supporting COM add-ins, it's only in the Outlook space at this point.
Yeah, I think some people are saying, okay, will one Outlook have all the features of desktop Outlook? For example, offline, the ability to access email even when you're offline.
Yes, the team is working on providing those capabilities. No, so also that in parallel of what I'm doing, I'm focusing more on the extensibility part. So there's another group of PMs who are actually working precisely into that essential features that we have in the Windows platform that we want to carry over into the One Outlook. And offline absolutely is what it's in that list.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. And maybe a last question here. I have some people are asking, so there is a lot of interest in the new Outlook, like offline mode is really important for a lot of people.
Yes, yes.
And also people are looking, so the new Outlook also will be available on Mac, and when this will happen to be have the new Outlook on
across the board. Again, I don't have
across the board at the same time.
Right. And I don't have, again, a specific date, but I just shared with you more or less how the project is going to be. I mean, as we have more clarity, we have ways of communicating with our community. Thank you. I appreciate so much you inviting me here because I can reach more people. But in our community, my team has a monthly community call. We always, talk about these types of issues, and when we have more clarity, we'll share it absolutely.
Okay, so excellent. I think the overall message is that's a journey. You have been working with Harmony. You are working with all the leading ISVs. to help them, and I can testify that you have been really helpful. We still have a couple of things we're waiting on. I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
You know, we want the drag and drop is really important for us. So everything is coming into place. Bulk operation, drag and drop, persistency. And I think it has been amazing to see that Microsoft, you know, a giant company, is able to really deal with a lot of ISVs, and which in our case, you know, we have 600,000 people using our COM add-ins, so that's quite a number.
Amazing. Yes.
And we think we're going to get soon to the 1 million mark, and 1,600 organizations worldwide. So it's good to hear that you have the big picture in mind and a lot of responsibility in your shoulders.
Yes, and it's really, I think since many years already, there was this transition in how we approach our communities at Microsoft, and having this direct access with everybody and being super transparent about what we are doing, you know, and effectively delivering everything that we are saying is like, it's what we love to do. You know, it's like all the team. I mean, I'm just one PM here kind of talking with you about it, but it's really a huge team that is behind me that is also super excited to help you guys, and making sure that the transition to one Outlook is as smooth as possible. We know that add-ins are essential. We know that in many cases are mission critical. So we are super conscious about it, and we want to have a great story for that.
So thank you very much, Juan. I know you need to go to your next meeting, so I want to thank you. If we have more questions, we will send them your way. And we'll also feel free, everybody's survey has been shared in the chat. So if you have developed your own plugins and you want to ask features, and you want to ask about the new web add-in architecture, we will get that in the way to Juan. And I think the good news is we're having this call with the community, and if needed, we'll do another call with the community, and we're going to continue to work together to enrich we're going to want to work together to continue to enrich and enhance the Microsoft 365 workplace. So thank you, Juan.
Absolutely, Jacob. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you everybody for listening to our message, and have a great rest of the webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juan. So what we want to talk about next is we want to talk about the new Harmony for the new Outlook, and we have been working with Microsoft. We started actually in 2013 and working on the new web add-in architecture, and the last year has been a lot more intense. And the idea really is to bring a new Harmony which will work with the new Outlook. It will work also with Outlook Desktop, Outlook on the Mac, even eventually Outlook Mobile. So that's the idea. And this new Harmony has been designed from the ground up for Microsoft 365. And really what we have done is we have been gathering all our experience working with hundreds of thousands of users. Today we have 600,000 users using Harmony Desktop across 1,600 organizations. We have been working with some of the largest Microsoft 365 shops. And what we have learned is that there is a need to really focus on the end user, because Microsoft 365 is very rich with a lot of application, but at the end of the day, the business end user can be overwhelmed by all these applications and by all this rich functionality. So in order to succeed, what we have seen is really in order to succeed in your Microsoft 365 initiative, is you need to deliver a cross-app experience. So an experience which is more stable, where You don't need to go from app toggle between apps. And for business users, which may not be the most technical users, we need an easy way to find, share, and organize apps across Microsoft 365. And really, the way to do it is what we have been doing, and we will do that to the next level with Harmony Cloud, is to bring first within Outlook, but we will bring this experience across Teams, across Office application, is really to bring all the Microsoft Cloud and all its richness in one place, starting with Outlook. And really having the ability to search across apps. So I can search if I'm looking for a document and I don't remember if this document came from an email or it was maybe in a team chat or maybe it was in a OneDrive share, I don't remember, or it was on SharePoint. I need to be able to search across apps. And we have been working with the Microsoft Search team and the API to really deliver the best cross-app experience using the Microsoft Exchange APIs and the Microsoft Graph APIs to give you a cross-app search experience. But this is also the same thing for recent. For example, I want your users, they want to see the recent docs that they have been working on across apps. If they have worked in this app in Office, in Excel, in Word, or in Teams, or in SharePoint, they shared it from the SharePoint interface, or from Harmony, you want one place to see recent across all apps. And that's what our recents will deliver. And when we talk about also shared with me, there are so many ways today to share a document. You can do it by putting an attachment in an email. You can do it by putting a link in an email. Maybe it is in a SharePoint chat, in a team chat, or in a Teams channel, or in a Teams meeting, or in SharePoint or OneDrive. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have one shared with me place where you're getting all these shared documents. It's like a virtual inbox across all the channels. And having the ability to see SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive in one place, having really a single place where I have a single tree across all Microsoft repository for all my files. And we have seen that actually once you empower your user with cross-app experience, this also impact compliance, and this impact also the organizational initiative, because empowered users drive organizational compliance. In other words, if you want your enterprise, you have a retention, email retention initiative, you have a compliance initiative, you have a life cycle management of documents, you want to manage emails and manage the life cycle of emails. In order to make compliance work, it has to be seamless. It has to be very easy for user. So that's really what we have seen. And when we are working with some of the largest SharePoint and Microsoft 365 shops, they want to deliver the easiest possible user experience across Microsoft 365 to deliver better compliance, to deliver a seamless information management system, to be able to retain emails and documents with ease, to manage the life cycle of information, because as you know today, in a hyper-regulated world that we are in, we need to manage the life cycle of our documents, the life cycle of our projects, of our folder. We need to classify and organize information with metadata and with retention policies. And the easier it is for the user to comply, the more they will actually follow compliance. Because if it's difficult to do, They're not going to do it in our society today, which are very focused on the individual. We need to make sure the individual is in power in order to achieve our corporate goals. And in order to make it easy, we think, and I was talking to Juan, how drag and drop is critical. Having a persistent Harmony Cloud sidebar within one Outlook, within any Outlook, and being able to take an emails or to take an attachment and to very easily upload it to the Microsoft Cloud, regardless if I want to put it on a Teams file, if I want to put this document on a SharePoint document library. I want to have, being in Outlook give us a very easy access to emails, to attachments, and a lot of the company information, a lot of the outside world is communicating via email. So being able to very easily upload documents to Teams files, upload documents to SharePoint document libraries, that's really making the adoption of the cloud, adoption of Microsoft 365 a lot easier. The other thing, as we spoke, we are spending a lot of time with, we have actually a new design team which came on board at Harmony, and working a new product management team to really try to get the best of our experience working with for the past 12 years, we have been working with a lot of the leading Microsoft 365 organization and enterprises. At the same time, we want to have a look and feel which what the people which have onboarded in the workplace they're going to really like it. Having a redesigned user experience, using a lot of the design systems and design methodology which has been innovated, which came to world. So search as you type, being able to use at with a name, and being able to filter by app, something we introduced in Harmony Desktop a year ago, where you can actually look at the results by app. So I can focus on results from Teams. This way I can discover a channel I didn't know about. So search and delivering search, not only across SharePoint and Teams and OneDrive, but also maybe it's in an email. So we are doing a lot of work behind the scene to bring information from Exchange using the Exchange APIs. The other thing to make compliance easy, we are using drag and drop, but also we are making it very easy to save emails. Saving emails on Teams or SharePoint require a mapping of email fields to SharePoint columns, email things being from, to, subject. So we are introducing, and this is going to be also available in Harmony Desktop, but in Harmony Cloud, we are introducing a very easy way to Harmony will automatically map the email fields to the SharePoint columns without the need to ask admin help. In Teams, for example, we are very independent to create our own teams. People are saving documents in files, and there is an ability also to apply metadata even at the user level. So we are making it a lot easier to drag and drop an email into a document library and automatically to apply the email header mapping. So user will be able to have a view of all the emails they shared in a SharePoint document library or in the Teams. They will have a view which is an email view with from, to, subject, and so on. So that's a very important feature we are adding. The other thing we are seeing, and I've been talking recently to a number of customers which are really struggling how to organize and to manage the proliferation of files in Teams. So Teams has been growing exponentially during COVID, and it has been a very useful platform for meetings. But now we start to pay the price from a user experience standpoint. It's becoming increasingly difficult to find documents in Teams. And for IT, it is increasingly difficult to take control of all this information being shared in Teams. Because at the end of the day, we still need to be compliant with retention policies. For how long do we retain this document? We need to make sure that confidential documents are being managed properly. And in one end, there is this very collaborative way of working with Teams, which is very beneficial, very spontaneous. On the other hand, we need to find a way for IT to manage these documents. So what we are introducing in Harmony Cloud is thanks to the work Microsoft has been doing to make it easy to apply metadata in Teams, in the File tab of Teams, we are really enabling to save emails into Teams. We are making it easy to apply metadata to files into Teams. And we're going to make it easy to chat and talk about, hey, this is the document I posted, and at the same time to apply metadata in a very intuitive way, which is not, because a lot of time where people have seen it as it's either metadata and organization, something organized, or it has to be totally wild and spontaneous. And we're trying to find a way, together with all the advance we're seeing in Microsoft, to have an ability to make it easy for user to share a document in a chat, but also to make it very easy to apply metadata the way we have done it for SharePoint. So no more trade-off between SharePoint and Teams. The other thing, Akori, actually our new product manager, has initiated to make it really easy we are spending a lot of time looking for documents in Teams. They may be in chat and meetings. And that's become difficult to find. So we're gonna have the ability under the Teams tab to have a view of all the documents has been shared with you in Teams. So also we are working with our designers on a brand new user experience. For example, having file preview on hover. So you hover a file name, and you stay a couple of seconds on it. So we will give you a view with high performance to show you what the document is all about. Maybe this is not the document you are looking for. You don't need to open it. You get a quick preview with some metadata. Also, having the ability within the sidebar in Outlook to have quick action which appear only on hover, and quick share options to copy a link or to share to Teams. Anything can be shared to Teams. And as we spoke about search, as you type, search by person. And also very important, we just launched with Harmony Desktop a dark mode, which is very popular among IT people. So we're going to launch with both dark and light mode. And also what's important for IT, because we are complying with the Office web add-in plugin extensibility, the Office extensibility model. They will be available within the Microsoft Store. You get all the provisioning through Microsoft App Source. You get automatic updates, and you have one add-in which will work with one Harmony add-in which will work with one Outlook, with desktop, with web, mobile, and Mac. A lot easier to manage. Also, we have opted our R&D lead as research and came up with a single page architecture, which is really making sure the organization data never leave your tenant. So we have been working a lot on compliance with ISO 27001, with SOC 2, and we want to make sure that you getting, for a lot of the customers, our customers, there's a lot of security and privacy concern. So with the single page architecture, the organization data, your emails never leave your tenant. We're not bringing the emails to our cloud. It's all staying in your Microsoft 365 tenant. Because it's a single page architecture, we are reducing the round trips with the server. We are trying to optimize when we refresh the UX, and this to give you a really powerful performance. And hopefully, I will confess that I was supposed to show you today Harmony Cloud, and Murphy Laws, it didn't work. He worked all week, but before the webinar, it didn't work. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have a European webinar and we'll show it then. So I see we have a lot of questions coming in, but just to finish up, we're going to make it very easy to install for the Microsoft App Source update. And eventually we'll make it available in other Microsoft apps, not just it will be available on Teams. And we're looking at other use cases where it will be valuable to get all your files, all your Microsoft 365 in one place. The other thing is we have been working with Microsoft. We have already R&D build that we start to test internally, and we will be opening up next year in Q1 a design partner program. So if you want to help shape the future of Harmony Cloud, and we have already some large customers which are part of it, they want to make sure they get their favorite features available. So please apply. It will be, again, Maya will share a link so you can apply to this design partner program. We're going to maybe have a get together in Tel Aviv for this program. So it's going to be a very, very cool program. So let's take a look at your question. Yeah, so will the full Harmony be available to small teams? Yes, we are going to a model where you're going to be able to, we're thinking more and more about smaller teams. We're looking today, there is a limit of a minimum of 15 users. So we're looking at that to make it more available on a store, so you can buy even one license or a small number of licenses. We want to increase the accessibility. We're looking at having a self-service site so you can learn and onboard very quickly. So we do not require E5. We only require, I believe, E3. So you don't need to. You do not require. Then you can get going right away with Harmony without E5. Oh, we are an Harmony customer. Do we need to pay more for Harmony Cloud? So I have some good news on that. We had a lot of internal debate, but we decided to make Harmony Cloud part of the Harmony subscription. So if you are already an Harmony subscriber, and you will get Harmony Cloud and Harmony Desktop for the same price, the same subscription. And how this affect Microsoft 365 and integration of Outlook with SharePoint. So we continue to support SharePoint. We are supporting more and more teams, and there's more and more documents landing in the files tabs of the team channels. So, but we'll continue to support SharePoint. For us, you know, at the end of the day, SharePoint is the infrastructure behind Teams. So for us, it makes sense to support both. So yes, people which want to use Harmony Desktop and Harmony Cloud, we are looking, you will be able to use both. And we want to make sure the icons won't be confusing, so you will be able to use both. Even in a single Outlook instance, let's say you have an Outlook desktop, you will be able to use both, or maybe you have Outlook desktop with Harmony Desktop, and you have Outlook Web with Harmony Cloud. So the links is for the Design Partner Program is already in chat. Yes, we will be moving to auto updates. We have been getting a lot of requests. We apologize. We know that the MSI upgrades are in large organizations, are complex cycles, and we continue to support our customer to do that, but it's going to be a lot easier with Harmony Cloud. You will be able to update. What we would love to achieve is that it's pretty much like the Microsoft channels. So if you are on a monthly update, you get monthly updates of Harmony. So we will not support on-premise SharePoint, on-premise Exchange in Harmony Cloud. However, we'll continue to support SharePoint on-premise and Exchange on-prem with Harmony Desktop. So the good news, you can use Harmony Desktop for years to come. We are very committed to the product. We have 600,000 users, 1,600 customers, and growing. So this will be, we'll continue to support it for years to come. But if you want a full Microsoft 365 experience, if you are if you want to better organize teams, so that's probably Harmony Cloud is going to focus on these new issues. Okay, so I think we answered most of the questions. Feel free to send us via email question. Maybe Maya, you put my email also in the chat, yaacovc@harmon.ai. Please put it in the chat. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have a live demo working for the European folks, and we will post on our blog a follow-on, and a recorded demo. So take a look at our blog, subscribe to our blogs on Harmony. You will get the sneak preview of Harmony Cloud. And we wish everybody a happy celebration for the end of year. And we'll see you next year with more products coming. Thank you all.
Thank you, Yaakov.
Thank you, Maya, for all the setup.